gentle and adorable Li Maoyue was always a little insecure, probably because he had 1/4 foreign blood. But he was constantly monopolized and dominated by the cold and aloof top student, Xu Qingchi, from elementary school, through middle school, and all the way to high school. Anyone who tried to get close to Li Maoyue would be glared away by Xu Qingchi with a cold expression, which was why Li Maoyue ended up having only one friend him. That day, Li Maoyue suddenly showed concern for a classmate who had been frightened. His dazzling smile practically blinded his classmate. When the classmate came back to his senses, he grabbed Li Maoyue and warned him, "If you have a friend who is extremely protective of you, insanely possessive, and scares away everyone who tries to get close to you, you definitely need to be careful." That warning left Li Maoyue feeling troubled. "You're right, but Xu Qingchi is my only friend. He doesn't even care about me." The classmate's voice gradually became quieter, because he had spotted the fierce-looking Xu Qingchi. Li Maoyue was surprisingly slow when it came to matters of love. Luckily, after entering college, he finally escaped Xu Qingchi. He thought his life would continue peacefully like that. But one day, Xu Qingchi suddenly developed a terminal illness and fell into a coma. In order to save him, Li Maoyue participated in a medical clinical trial. The experiment would connect their brain waves, allowing them to return to the past through their dreams. 3 months later, Li Maoyue thought he had finally discovered the truth that Xu Qingchi was actually obsessed with him. But instead, the two of them got engaged. Let's start their beautiful story. The first time the gentle and adorable Li Maoyue confessed his feelings, he ended up being watched by the entire film crew. On the afternoon of his middle school graduation ceremony, the timid Li Maoyue finally worked up enough courage and found Xu Qingchi reading under a tree. When he looked into that serious face, it seemed like every word he wanted to say suddenly got stuck in his throat. Finally, after stammering and hesitating nervously, Li Maoyue bowed and managed to say, "I like you." Xu Qingqi's expression unexpectedly turned dark. When he received no response, Li Maoyue immediately regretted it. "Oh no, was I too loud? And why did I bow? I must have scared him. What should I do?" He had clearly memorized what he wanted to say beforehand. But the moment came, and his mind went completely blank. Xu Qingqi's approach scared Li Maoyue so badly that he could barely speak properly. But Xu Qingqi directly covered his mouth, forcing Li Maoyue's apology back down. Xu Qingqi pointed behind Li Maoyue, and that was when Li Maoyue saw the entire film crew. The other person awkwardly and nervously explained, "We're here to film a graduation memorial short. Maybe we can film later. You two can continue." That incredibly embarrassing moment was something Li Maoyue could never forget. As for his first love, it became a forbidden word in Li Maoyue's life. Throughout high school, college, and even now, whenever someone mentioned Xu Qingqi's name, Li Maoyue would immediately panic. When Grandma mentioned Xu Qingchi, Li Maoyue almost spit out the water he was drinking. "Grandma, why are you suddenly bringing him up?" Seeing how nervous Li Maoyue was, Grandma couldn't help teasing him. Seeing that you still haven't forgotten him, Grandma can finally relax. Seeing Grandma laugh, Li Maoyue's face turned red with embarrassment. If someone had their confession witnessed by an entire film crew, even if they got dementia when they were old, they wouldn't forget it. And what exactly is there to be relieved about? "Relieved because I can arrange a blind date for you two," Grandma said smoothly. Li Maoyue didn't understand what she meant at first. Then he suddenly realized something and froze. "Wait, Grandma, what?" A moment later, he shouted, "A blind date. Imagine having a childhood friend you never really got along with, who spent your entire school life trying to create dating rumors between the two of you. After finally escaping him once you became an adult, your family suddenly arranges a blind date with him because he apparently still hasn't forgotten you. You want to tell him exactly what you think, but because both families are close, all you can do is send him a simple message on WeChat saying, 'Hello.'" Li Maoyue had a childhood friend, whom he had secretly loved for years and could never forget. And now that person was also the blind date Grandma had arranged for him. Li Maoyue thought Xu Qingqi would hate him or think there was something wrong with him. But he never expected Xu Qingqi's message to arrive so quickly. For a moment, Li Maoyue had no idea how he was supposed to talk to him. "Stay calm. Don't panic. I've worked hard on my social skills all these years." "That's right. I'm not the same person I used to be." After forcing himself to calm down, Li Maoyue replied, "Hello. I'm really sorry to bother you. This whole thing is a misunderstanding. Back in middle school, I really did admire you a lot. I'm very grateful for how you looked after me back then. And I'm also sorry for causing you any trouble. Although I still think I have pretty good taste, I genuinely don't have any other intentions. I'll explain everything clearly to our families. I wish you all the best." After sending the entire message in one go, Li Maoyu felt that he had explained everything perfectly. He hadn't made himself sound desperate, had subtly complimented the other person, and had even added a little playfulness. A perfect response. But 20 minutes passed, and Li Maoyu still hadn't received a reply from Xu Qingchi. He couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. Was it all just my imagination? Maybe my explanation was actually terrible. No. Maybe he's just busy. But the fact remained that he hadn't replied. Unable to resist, Li Maoyu checked Xu Qingchi's WeChat moments. Wow, they're all just repost. He practically looks like a robot. New breakthrough in the treatment of Endymion syndrome. So this must be the direction he's been investing in over the past few years. No wonder. He started getting into finance back in high school. Someone this busy not replying is completely normal. Okay, I'll just let this whole thing disappear with the wind. Just as Li Maoyu decided to let it go, he suddenly received a call from Xu Qingchi. Li Maoyu stared at the screen in panic. After hesitating for a moment, he finally pressed the answer button. After so many years, he finally heard Xu Qingchi's voice again. Hello, I'm Xu Qingchi. Li Maoyu suppressed his racing heartbeat and forced himself to stay calm. Hello. Xu Qingchi's voice revealed no emotion. I just want to confirm something with you. This whole thing was a misunderstanding, right? Li Maoyu lied without hesitation. Yes, I'm sorry, but Xu Qingchi suggested that they meet in person and have dinner together. Li Maoyu panicked. No, it's okay. I'm preparing an entry for a competition right now, so I don't even have time to meet anyone. Haha. The other person was silent for a moment. Then I wish you all the best. If you need any help, just leave me a message on WeChat. But Li Maoyu never expected that the next time he would see Xu Qingchi, it would be in the intensive care unit. Li Maoyu claimed that his confession back then had all been a misunderstanding. He thought things between him and Xu Qingchi were finally over. He said he had completely moved on. But deep down, there was always an empty space in his heart. After putting on his goggles and gloves, Li Maoyu prepared to finish the sculpture in front of him in one go. He worked tirelessly for half a month, eventually reaching the shaping and polishing stage. For the final stage, he spent more than 20 days. Looking at the finished sculpture in front of him, Li Maoyu was incredibly pleased. That's my boy. I really did an amazing job. Maybe I should enter this in the competition. Just then, his phone suddenly rang. It was a call from Xu Qingchi's secretary. A month ago, Mr. Xu asked me to arrange a dinner with you. He introduced you as an important friend. So I believe I should inform you about this. Unfortunately, Mr. Xu has been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and his life has entered its final stage. Would you like to visit him? If so, please let me know what time works for you so I can make the necessary arrangements. At that moment, Li Maoyu felt as if his entire world had collapsed. Before he could even respond, his phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a loud clatter. Grandma heard the noise. Sweetheart, what happened? It was as if all the strength had been drained from Li Maoyu's body. He sat on the floor, staring blankly ahead. Nothing, Grandma. I accidentally knocked over the sculpture. Endymion syndrome, also known as Endymion syndrome, is a new type of disease that first appeared 30 years ago. Patients suffering from this disease can suddenly fall into a coma without any warning. Just like the moon goddess Selene from mythology, there is currently no clear cause, and patients generally develop autonomic nervous system dysfunction 3 days after the disease begins and wipe out within 30 days. So far, there have been no cases of recovery. The current incidence rate is about 0.0017%, which means that out of every 100 million people, around 1,700 people die from this disease each year, and Xu Qingchi was one of those 1,700 people. Seeing the person he had secretly loved lying in the intensive care unit, Li Maoyu was surprisingly calm. That handsome boy, that talented boy, that boy who had always been cold toward him, had grown into an adult, and now, he was lying right here. The last time they had met was at an exhibition 3 years ago. How strange. Was this really the person he had once loved so deeply? Why didn't he feel particularly sad? Hearing footsteps behind him, Li Maoyu remained unusually calm. How much longer does he have? The secretary looked at the report in his hand. The average is 27 days. Mr. Xu has already been unconscious for 19 days. It could happen next week, or it could happen in the very next minute. Li Maoyu didn't turn around. What about the treatment? I know he has invested in some research institutions related to this. Regarding that, the secretary told him that the attending physician would discuss it with him. Li Maoyu went to the conference room, where the attending physician introduced himself. I'm the person in charge of the Latmus project, and I'm also Mr. Xu's attending physician. Please take a look at this. Right now, the entire treatment plan is still in the clinical trial stage. The principle is extremely complicated. Simply put, we've developed a device that uses brainwave resonance to connect the dreams, memories, and subconscious minds of the patient and the person providing the treatment. After the attending physician gave him a lengthy explanation, Li Maoyu finally understood. Someone needed to connect their brain waves with his and enter his mental world to stimulate him. Is that right? But the attending physician still hadn't found anyone whose brain waves had a high enough compatibility with Xu Qingchi's. Li Maoyu had no interest in hearing any more about the technical details. He simply asked the doctor to test his compatibility. But I should warn you beforehand, it's best not to get your hopes up. Most patients with Endymion syndrome either lack an emotional life, fail to find social acceptance, or have a history of brain defect. But Xu Qingchi had everything from the moment he was born. Li Maoyu couldn't understand why he had developed this disease. When he returned home, after some time, Grandma knocked on the door and called him to dinner. But when she saw Li Maoyu's expression, she couldn't help worrying about him. Putting on a forced smile, Li Maoyu tried his best to hide how overwhelmed he really felt. Wow, there are so many side dishes tonight. The asparagus looked so tender. The blind date Grandma had arranged for him was the person he had loved since childhood. And now, that person was on the verge of elimination. Grandma was worried about his condition, but Li Maoyu smiled and pretended to be calm. What? The bamboo shoots really are delicious. While Xu Qingchi could wipe out at any moment, the person who had once loved him more than anything was sitting there, talking about bamboo shoots. But that's just how the world works. No matter who leaves, all the little everyday things around us continue unchanged. But when his phone screen lit up and Ding Lingling's ringtone started playing, Li Maoyu was still frightened. He remembered what the secretary had told him. Xu Qingchi had already been unconscious for 19 days. It could happen next week, or it could happen in the very next minute. His utensils fell to the floor, and Li Maoyu immediately rushed outside. Grandma, I'm going to take this call. Once he reached the doorway, he nervously pulled out his phone, terrified that he was about to hear the news that Xu Qingchi is no more. Hello. Your compatibility results are ready. 77.78%. That's already higher than the minimum compatibility rate required for brain wave synchronization. Would you be willing to assist with Mr. Zhu's treatment? Before you answer, I have to inform you about the potential risks involved. After a long while, Li Maoyu finally ended the call. Grandma seemed to sense that something had happened. Little bunny, what's wrong? Li Maoyu carefully thought about how to explain it to her. Well, they've developed a new treatment method, and I'm compatible with it. It's a little dangerous, but the treatment fee is really high. They also promise that regardless of whether the treatment succeeds, they'll continue supporting my creative work afterward. And the treatment itself sounds pretty interesting. I've actually been lacking inspiration for my work lately. Grandma didn't ask anything else. She simply walked over and gently hugged him. Little bunny, Grandma has a saying for you. I'm giving it to you now. We only live once. I've never regretted returning to China with your grandfather. So you should also make the choice you won't regret. Even though we eventually got divorced, Grandma still got to experience a whole new kind of life in a foreign country. Li Maoyu wanted to say something else, but Grandma immediately gave him a little push and interrupted him. That's enough. Go experience the one life you have. Li Maoyu softly replied, okay. He hurriedly grabbed his coat and left. I'll definitely come back safely. As soon as Li Maoyu arrived at the facility, the medical staff immediately began preparing the equipment to connect their brain waves. Truthfully, Li Maoyu still didn't know whether he loved him anymore. Maybe what he loved was only the memory of him that existed in his heart. Or perhaps it was simply his own beautiful dream and the regret he had never let go of. The equipment connection was successful. Preparing to enter the first memory node, the person in front of Li Maoyu gradually became clear. This was his first encounter with Xu Qingchi. I don't like being touched, and I don't want to be friends with you either. Stay away from me. Li Maoyu stared at Xu Qingchi's face in a daze. At this moment, he had no choice but to admit it. He missed him. He missed Xu Qingchi. Even after all these years, he still missed the person he had met when he was 7. Overwhelmed by emotion, tears began falling uncontrollably. Those were the words Xu Qingchi had said to him when they first met. Of course, Li Maoyu hadn't cried back then. He buried his face in his knees and stubbornly held on to Xu Qingchi's clothes. Stop crying. I hate everyone touching me. It's not just you. Xu Qingchi had never actually said those words back then. Perhaps it was because he was gripping his clothes so stubbornly. Xu Qingchi rubbed his forehead in slight frustration, and eventually managed to pull his clothes free and walk away. Li Maoyu's tears started falling again. Suddenly, Xu Qingchi brought over a bedsheet and covered him with it. Li Maoyu froze. Even after his entire head was covered, he still didn't react. Looking at his clumsy appearance, Xu Qingchi let out a deep sigh and finally hugged him. There. Are you satisfied now? Maoyue could only feel his heart beating incredibly fast. He's just comforting me. He looked up and met Xu Qingchi's gaze. It was still that expressionless face. He pointed at the bedsheet. It's your family's bedsheet. Remember to wash it again when you get home. Xu Qingchi's cleanliness obsession was seriously intense. Even after hugging Maoyue while he was wrapped in the bedsheet, he immediately had to wash his hands. Seeing that Maoyue still hadn't come back to his senses, he couldn't help urging him. Why are you just standing there? Didn't you come here to do your homework? As he spoke, he opened the study door. Come in. My grandpa said you'll be coming over to do your homework from now on. So, you can use this desk. Maoyue instinctively looked toward the desk. Xu Qingchi's grandparents and Maoyue's grandparents lived in the same building in the government compound. When they were in elementary school, their grandparents would go to the senior citizens activity center to play mahjong and bridge. So, Maoyue would be left with Xu Qingchi, who was expected to help him with his homework. The desk Maoyue used for several years later became a complete mess. But Xu Qingchi's desk was the territory of a top student. It was always covered with advanced math books, a pencil sharpener, a Rubik's Cube, and a little rabbit. Maoyue remembered what the doctor had said. Inside the memory dreams, he could interact more with the things and objects that mattered to the patient. Just as he reached out to touch the little rabbit, Xu Qingchi noticed immediately. He quickly took the little rabbit away and sternly warned him not to touch it. Maoyue hadn't even touched the little rabbit before Xu Qingchi snatched it away. He sternly warned him. There are 3 things you're not allowed to do while doing homework in my room. Maoyue cut him off before he could finish. Don't touch you. Don't talk while you're doing your homework. And don't touch anything on your desk. Xu Qingchi was stunned. How did you know? Maoyue could only complain silently in his heart. Because you're going to repeat those rules over and over again in the future. But on the outside, he put on a pitiful expression and started acting cute. I really like the little rabbit. Can I play with it just once? Just once. Please. Seeing that Xu Qingchi seemed to be wavering, Maoyue secretly calculated in his mind. This little rabbit figurine. I never got to touch it even once before elementary school ended and Xu Qingchi moved back to his parents' house. It must be something he really cares about. He thought he was about to agree. But instead, Xu Qingchi suddenly gave him a math problem. What's 75 squared? Maoyue was completely caught off guard by his unexpected approach. Xu Qingchi held the rabbit in his hand and looked at him with disdain. 5,625. Idiot, you can't even do such a simple calculation in your head. And you still want to play with my things. Maoyue's fist clenched. Before he could punch him, he suddenly woke up in anger. The participant has awakened. All vital signs are normal. The readings are rising. The patient's brain activity is increasing. 33.7, 33.75. It's still rising. You're awake. Congratulations. You've successfully completed your first treatment. Maoyue's ears were filled with the medical staff's excited voices. Maoyue rubbed his neck as he sat up. Right? I almost forgot how arrogant this guy was in elementary school. But he was still worried that the treatment had been too short and might affect the results of the treatment later. The doctor told him that this was normal. Usually, the first connection is very short. It's easy for the resonance to be interrupted because of emotional fluctuations. Did you experience any particular emotion before you woke up? Maoyue froze in place. For a moment, he didn't know how to describe it. Maybe, I woke up because I was angry. Staring at Xu Qingchi's peaceful sleeping face, Maoyue couldn't understand one thing. How did this guy end up becoming the person he was later? Although Maoyue had been angered awake during the first treatment, he still wanted to continue. The doctor recommended that brainwave resonance should ideally be done no more than once a day, depending on the patient's brain activity. According to our calculations, you have a total of 22 memory nodes that can be synchronized. These memory nodes are memories that have been deeply engraved in your brains through extensive neural activity. Simply put, they're memories that left a deep impression and had an impact on your lives. Maoyue kept thinking about the number 22 from elementary school until now. These were the important memories between him and Xu Qingchi that were significant enough to be recorded by the machine. Was that a lot or a little? How much of his life did they actually represent? Maoyue couldn't tell. The doctor recommended that he enter these memories in chronological order. The interventions will be more frequent in the beginning. If there aren't any major changes in the data, we'll conduct the next intervention tomorrow. But there's one more thing we need you to cooperate with. The secretary asked him if he was willing to move into Xu Qingchi's apartment. It was Yingxing, the most expensive tower in the city center. 3 years ago, Xu Qingchi had become the new owner of the building. The first through fourth floors housed the medical research center he had invested in, while the top floor was his home. After his illness began, expensive medical equipment and life support machines were moved into the apartment, one after another, to keep this independent investor alive. And now, Maoyue was moving into. He called Grandma and told her he would be staying there for about a month and a half. Since he wouldn't be there for very long, he didn't want Grandma to keep making the trip back and forth. Would it be okay if I moved my studio here? The secretary reassured him. Don't worry. The West guest room has been completely unfurnished since Mr. Xu moved in. It has excellent soundproofing and ventilation, so it's perfect for your creative work. Maoyue couldn't understand it. In the middle of the city, where property cost for 100,000 yuan per square meter, Xu Qingchi actually had an entire room sitting empty and unused. That's what you call having money to burn. Suddenly, he asked the secretary where he would sleep at night. The secretary hesitated. You'll sleep beside Mr. Xu. Maoyue tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. They said it's for the treatment to work better, and that you should increase your daily interaction with Mr. Xu. Staying with him at night is one of the most suitable ways, is it? That basically making me do the caregiver's job too? There was a household robot responsible for cleaning and changing his clothes, so he didn't actually have to do much. Maoyue stared out the window for a long time. Eventually, he walked over to Xu Qingchi's bedside. The person he had secretly loved for years was right in front of him. Because he was unconscious, he had already become completely helpless. He remembered how Xu Qingchi wouldn't let him touch him or even talk to him when they were children. But now, he couldn't fight back at all. Maoyue grabbed his face and squeezed it hard. Ha ha ha, Xu Qingchi, look at you now. Revenge may take 20 years, but I'll still get it. Maoyue practically treated him like a toy, repeatedly pinching his cheeks. Suddenly, the machine monitoring the patient's heart rate began showing abnormal readings. The patient's emotions are fluctuating abnormally. The doctor simply assumed he was probably having some strange dream and went back to his work, letting him continue sleeping. Inside Xu Qingchi's memories, Maoyue felt as if he had traveled back into the past. In front of him was his dirty blackboard, surrounded by classmates he had never seen again after graduation. He hurriedly spread out his books to hide himself and looked toward Lin Zuo's direction. Then he realized that this wasn't a dream, because Xu Qingchi's face looked so vivid and alive under the sunlight. Maoyue stared at him for a moment. So this is what Xu Qingchi looked like when he was little. Suddenly, the teacher called on him. Question 2 on page 43. Maoyue, you answer it. How do you solve it? Maoyue nervously stood up with his textbook in his hands. But he was completely confused. Yep, definitely not a dream. This math problem is way too realistic. Unable to answer, he instinctively looked towards Xu Qingchi. But the teacher immediately called his out. Don't look at your deskmate. Look at the problem. Do you even understand the question? How could you possibly understand it? Is that even your book? Give the book back to your deskmate and stand there for the rest of the lesson. Unlike the irritated teacher, the other students immediately burst into laughter, which earned them another scolding from the teacher. Only then did Maoyue remember that Xu Qingchi had a special privilege when it came to math class. He was allowed to work on math competition problems instead of listening to the lesson. Sometimes, when Maoyue wasn't paying attention, he would accidentally take his book. Seeing Xu Qingchi being called to the front of the class to solve the problem, Maoyue was still a little dazed. It really felt like he had returned to the past. Suddenly, a classmate poked Maoyue and handed him a note. Maoyue instinctively took it. It read, "You're nothing but a rotten apple." Even so, Maoyue remained surprisingly calm. The scene suddenly changed. He was now drawing in the art room. As soon as the bell rang, Maoyue put on his backpack and left the classroom. But two girls suddenly blocked his path. Hey, wait. Don't you go wait for Xu Qingchi every day so you can walk home together. They wanted him to perform with Xu Qingchi in the school anniversary stage play. To make their performance more competitive, they hoped Maoyue and Xu Qingchi could play Romeo and Juliet. Maoyue was tempted, but he couldn't guarantee that he could convince Xu Qingchi to participate. The girl was confident that he could. Then she pointed at the book lying inside Maoyue's backpack. Maoyue looked embarrassed. He had accidentally taken Xu Qingchi's book again. Ever since 3rd grade, Maoyue would spend an hour drawing in the art club after school, before going to the main school building, to wait for Xu Qingchi, who was attending math competition tutoring, so they could walk home together. Because they went to and from school together every day, their classmates all assumed that they were very close. But in reality, even though it would have been more convenient for Xu Qingchi to come to the art room and pick Maoyue up, Maoyue had never once asked him to change his route. Maybe it was because he was scared back then. He was afraid that walking home together after school was only a decision he had made on his own. Unfortunately, Li Maoyu never found the courage to ask Xu Qingchi about the stage play, even by the day of the school anniversary. Luckily, the performance without Xu Qingchi was still a huge success. Because of that, Li Maoyu would often regret it later. He even dreamed about appearing on stage and performing together with Xu Qingchi. At this moment, Li Maoyu was still hesitating. Wait, should I invite him while I'm inside this memory? Suddenly, a boy interrupted his thoughts. Li Maoyu, you're a bad influence. You're the rotten apple in the whole class. Not only are you constantly clinging to Xu Qingchi, but you also keep bothering the girls in the art club. You're ruining the harmony of our entire class 7. It was the boy who had slipped him the insulting note earlier. He had also brought several other boys with him. We're here today to officially warn you. Stay away from them, or don't blame us for what happens next. Faced with their hostility, Li Maoyu actually laughed. I completely forgot about you guys. Do elementary school kids really talk like this? The boy was shaking with anger at his attitude. What are you laughing at? You fake foreigner. Little shadow. Girly boy. Li Maoyu's expression darkened. He was just about to respond when Xu Qingchi spoke first. Shut up. Xu Qingchi glared angrily at the boy, his eyes full of warning. Xu Qingchi helped Li Maoyu drive away the classmates who had been bullying him. Only after their embarrassed figures had completely disappeared did Xu Qingchi turn toward Li Maoyu. What good does keeping your head down do? If you don't fight back, they'll only get worse. When something like this happens, you need to tell your parents or your homeroom teacher. His tone sounded almost like an older person lecturing him. Along with that awkward relationship between them, Li Maoyu couldn't help himself and suddenly started laughing. Xu Qingchi saw him rubbing his eyes and thought he was crying. So he immediately became flustered. I can testify for you. But then he got a clear look at Li Maoyu's face, and his words suddenly stopped. Li Maoyu had actually been holding back his laughter. His smile was so beautiful that Xu Qingchi froze for a moment. Li Maoyu bought some fried chicken from the shop outside the school gate. After being protected by Xu Qingchi, he was in such a good mood that he was still smiling while eating. Li Maoyu ate his fried chicken while humming a little tune, making Xu Qingchi stare at him the whole time. Why are you looking at me like that? Do you want a chicken leg? Li Maoyu asked instinctively. Only then did Xu Qingchi look away. Forget it. What exactly are you so happy about? Li Maoyu didn't hide it. First of all, I haven't had the shop sweet sauce fried chicken in more than 10 years. And secondly, let me test you. Suppose there's someone who has two completely different types of friends. One type is cheerful and outgoing. They love talking to people, and wherever they go, everyone is laughing and having fun. The other type acts superior, doesn't let anyone touch them, and whenever they're around, nobody dares to speak. Which type of friend do you think would make this person happier? Suddenly, the girl who had stopped Li Maoyu earlier quietly called his name. Don't forget our agreement. Li Maoyu immediately replied with an okay gesture. Xu Qingchi didn't understand. What do you mean? Li Maoyu smiled even more brightly. The answer is the second type. Anyone would find it normal to be friends with a cheerful and outgoing person. But if you can become friends with someone who's cold and distant, doesn't that mean you've received some kind of special treatment from them? Xu Qingqi's face turned red, which was extremely rare for him. Li Maoyu hadn't finished yet. You might think this kind of vanity is silly, but to me, as an elementary school student, it's actually really important. Hey, Xu Qingqi, you probably won't believe me, but I came back from the future to save you. Sensing that something was wrong, Xu Qingqi immediately stood up. Li Maoyu was startled and instinctively started speaking faster. Right now, I have a once-in-a-lifetime request. Here, Your Highness, your book. After saying that, he happily hummed to himself. Xu Qingqi was completely confused. You said you came back from the future to save me, but your way of doing that is disturbing me while I study. Li Maoyu suddenly paused. Wait, did I guess wrong? Maybe your highness would rather perform in the stage play than study. As he said that, he suddenly started performing right in front of Xu Qingqi. Romeo. Why are you Romeo? Deny your father and abandon your name. Just swear that you'll be mine. Unfortunately, Xu Qingqi had no patience to listen to his performance. Stop. You've been acting really strange lately. Li Maoyu was extremely happy. I told you, I came back from the future. My body may have gotten smaller, but my mind is still way ahead of everyone else. You agreed to study with me, so you can't take it back. Xu Qingqi turned his head away and replied, whatever. That sooner-like attitude made Li Maoyu laugh again. During their study session, Li Maoyu couldn't help secretly looking at Xu Qingqi. If I could go back to the past, this is all I would want. One summer afternoon like this, you seriously studying, while I pretend to do my homework and secretly watch you. Li Maoyu stared at Xu Qingchi's face. For a moment, he became lost in thought. A gentle summer breeze occasionally blew in through the window. I accidentally fell asleep and had a dream. In my dream, you stopped writing and looked at me. Was that real? He didn't know how long he had been asleep. When Li Maoyu finally woke up, he rubbed his tired eyes and discovered that Xu Qingchi was no longer sitting where he had been. Waking up in the library, Li Maoyu initially thought Xu Qingchi had tricked him and left. Still the same as before. Thinking about it now, it still makes me angry. He would leave without saying a word, dump his backpack on me, and barely speak to me for a month or two. All because I drew a few doodles in his book. Did he really think I was his servant? After complaining for a while, Li Maoyu suddenly calmed down. Forget it. Things are different now. Now I'm getting paid. Do you know how much I'm getting paid for each treatment, kid? Come to think of it, is this memory node about to end? Maybe I should go buy another chicken leg. No, wait, I'll buy several. Suddenly, he saw the boy who had always troubled him, and the person who had stopped him was Xu Qingchi. Li Maoyu decided to hide nearby and figure out what was going on first. The boy angrily confronted Xu Qingchi. You were the one who reported us to the teacher, weren't you? Don't let Li Maoyu fool you. He's the rotten apple that ruined the whole class. We just wanted to teach him a lesson. Stay out of this. Xu Qingchi was holding Li Maoyu's favorite fried chicken legs in his arms. He stared angrily at the boy questioning him. How were you planning to teach him a lesson? The boy didn't react for a moment. Xu Qingchi even set the fried chicken legs down. I asked you, how were you planning to teach him a lesson? His gaze was frighteningly cold. Li Maoyu couldn't see his expression, but he noticed the design on the packaging and was a little stunned. The boy let out an angry snort. We've already got everything prepared. My brother said that as long as we record something, he definitely won't dare tell anyone. You call him over. He'll definitely listen to you. As long as... Before the boy could finish, a small stone grazed his cheek, causing a sharp sting and drawing syrup. The boy froze in horror. When he finally reacted, he collapsed to the ground, covered his eyes, and started crying hysterically, even shouting incoherently that he was blind. The boy looked at Xu Qingchi in terror. Why? Xu Qingchi picked up another stone. Run away while you still can, you little punk. Terrified, the boy ran away in panic. None of the others dared to fight back. Li Maoyu finally understood why that boy had transferred schools later. He had never seen Xu Qingchi like this before. Suddenly, the stone fell from Xu Qingchi's hand, and he grabbed his chest in pain. Li Maoyu didn't have time to think, and immediately ran toward him. He tried to get closer. What's wrong? Where does it hurt? He instinctively reached out to touch him, but the moment he got close, Xu Qingchi reflexively pushed him away. Li Maoyu stumbled backward, and his head hit the stairs. Bright red syrup immediately stained the back of his head. Come to think of it, Xu Qingchi had started acting strangely after that confrontation. Could that be why, in the real past, he didn't return to the library and instead left alone? What happened afterward? Did Xu Qingchi's family punish him for fighting? Li Maoyu really knew nothing about it. He hoped that making different choices inside the memory node wouldn't affect the treatment results. This memory node should be about to end. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Just as Li Maoyu's voice faded, Xu Qingchi walked over. The two of them stared at each other in silence for a long time. Eventually, Xu Qingchi sat down beside Li Maoyu's bed. After a long pause, he finally said, I'm sorry. Li Maoyu froze instinctively. Then he scratched his head awkwardly. It's okay. I forgot that you don't like being touched. Xu Qingchi lowered his head and fell silent again. Li Maoyu stared at his profile. His eyes are really beautiful. They look like amethysts. Suddenly, Xu Qingchi held out his most precious little rabbit. Here. This is for you. Li Maoyu stared at the little rabbit for a long time. Isn't this really important to you? The memory node suddenly became unstable. Xu Qingqi's voice started making a crackling electrical sound. You don't like it. Li Maoyu quickly explained. No. That's not it. Seeing that the memory node was about to disappear, he quickly ran toward Xu Qingchi and desperately grabbed the little rabbit before he could leave. The second memory node has ended. Thank goodness I managed to grab it at the end. Li Maoyu woke up to the sound of the doctor's voice. Brain wave activity has increased by 0.73. Blood pressure and heart rate are normal. Li Maoyu instinctively turned his face to the side and stared at Xu Qingchi, who was still sleeping. After returning, the doctor asked Li Maoyu how he felt. My heart is beating really fast. The doctor explained that experiencing temporary tachycardia after treatment was normal. Based on the current data, the patient's vital signs are stable, and his brain wave activity has increased. This was a successful treatment. Congratulations. After the connection ends, the person undergoing treatment may experience temporary mental disorientation, or confusion between the memory node and reality. That's completely normal. If the symptoms become severe or start affecting your daily life, please contact me at any time. How was the patient's condition inside the memory node? Did you notice anything unusual? Li Maoyu still hadn't completely recovered from Xu Qingchi's memories. It wasn't until the doctor called his again that he finally snapped back to reality. Sorry, I didn't quite hear you just now. Seeing that he wasn't in a good state, the doctor said, we'll talk about it again tomorrow. It looks like you need some time alone. Oh, and there's one more thing related to the treatment that I need you to help with. The attending physician led Li Maoyu into Xu Qingchi's study. This is where Mr. Xu keeps his documents and personal belongings. According to the doctor's instructions, you can look through them freely to help you understand Mr. Xu better. That will be beneficial for the subsequent treatments. The things from elementary school are in the first cabinet on the right, and so on. Li Maoyu secretly complained to himself. Does he have some kind of organizing obsession? After finishing his explanation, the doctor stepped outside and left Li Maoyu alone. The moment he thought about how everything in this room belonged to Xu Qingchi, his heart instinctively started beating faster, almost as if he were looking forward to something, because he wanted to know what he really meant to Xu Qingchi. It wasn't until Li Maoyu opened the box from his elementary school days that he realized the carefully prepared gifts, the cards he had rewritten over and over, the paper cranes, and the lucky stars were all gone. Not a single one had been kept. The study materials, however, were all still there. Typical Xu Qingchi. Li Maoyu felt a bitter ache in his chest. Suddenly, he noticed the little rabbit on the desk. He instinctively wondered, how did this figurine end up on his desk? Didn't he already give it to me? He reached out to touch it, but a crackling electrical sound suddenly rang inside his head. Li Maoyu remembered what the doctor had told him after the previous treatment. After the connection ends, the person undergoing treatment may experience brief disorientation or symptoms of confusing memories with reality. Li Maoyu could only laugh bitterly. I really must be losing my mind. The doctor had been waiting outside the whole time. As soon as Li Maoyu came out, he immediately asked, Ms. Li, did you find anything? Li Maoyu looked completely distracted. I need to step away for a bit. Please leave the study exactly as it is. Li Maoyu returned to his work area feeling completely lost. He tried to convince himself to create. He would hand all these conflicting thoughts, all these questions, and all these emotions he couldn't make sense of over to his drawing board, his paper, his pens, and his carving tools. Only here, and only here, could he truly feel like himself. At that moment, inside the study, one of Xu Qingchi's study materials suddenly fell to the floor. The wind blew the pages open. Inside was a drawing of a little rabbit flying through the air. Meanwhile, at a school somewhere in China, an older professor was chatting enthusiastically with a man. When will you be giving your lecture after coming back to China this time? I read your paper in science. You have such a promising future. The man smiled politely. You're too kind. I'm just here to exchange ideas with everyone. By the way, could you tell me which direction the Academy of Fine Arts is? I'm going to visit a friend. He works as a teaching assistant in the sculpture department. Before Xu Qingchi, who was lying unconscious, could reveal his feelings, a rival had already arrived with a halo around him. Everywhere the man went, the girls couldn't help whispering in amazement. Hey, look at him. When did our college get someone with that kind of style? And he's such a handsome engineering guy. The man paid no attention to them. He was completely focused on finding Li Maoyu. He finally reached the sculpture studio where Li Maoyu was working, but he stopped outside. Lowering his eyes, he sighed to himself. I can't believe I'm feeling this nostalgic. We haven't seen each other since high school graduation. Is he still the same? The man looked thoughtful and melancholy, like the moon on a cold night in early spring. But when he opened the door, he saw a scene he would never forget for the rest of his life. Li Maoyu angrily smashed his sculpture, and somehow managed to accidentally injure himself in the process. Fu Zhuan was the class monitor Li Maoyu hadn't seen for nearly 10 years. He was still the same as before, but Li Maoyu seemed to have changed a lot. Li Maoyu waited for him to say something, but Fu Zhuan suddenly covered his mouth and laughed, almost as if he had switched to a completely different persona. Only then did Li Maoyu pick up a strand of his hair. Is it because of my hair color? I dyed it once after starting college, and I liked it, so I kept dyeing it this color. Fu Zhuan said it suited him very well. Li Maoyu smiled. Right? I was called a fake foreigner all the time when I was little. I might as well make the most of it. Mentioning that suddenly made Fu Zhuan's mood drop. About that, I've always wanted to apologize to you. I was the class monitor. Even though I heard that someone in our class was troubling you, I never stood up for you. Li Maoyu didn't care about it. You were just a kid back then. Besides, it didn't last that long. and the one who started it just happened to transfer schools. Fu Zhuan touched his head and quietly repeated one part of what Li Maoyue had said. Just happened to. Li Maoyue leaned closer. What's wrong? Fu Zhuan shook his head guiltily. Nothing. I just mean, he got off way too easily. That reaction made Li Maoyue suspicious. So he didn't just happen to transfer schools. Even the class monitor seems to know something. And I'm the only one who's been completely in the dark this whole time. Fu Zhuan changed the subject. Speaking of which, how are things between you and Xu Qingchi? Do you still see each other often? Li Maoyue was silent for a moment. No. We haven't really seen each other much since college. That answer clearly surprised Fu Zhuan. You two were always inseparable. I thought that would never change. Not even for the rest of your lives. Looks like the only thing that never changes is saying goodbye. At first, Li Maoyue had been catching up with his old class monitor whom he hadn't seen in years. They had even planned to go out for dinner together that evening. But a phone call from the doctor completely disrupted Li Maoyue's plans. The reading suddenly dropped. Wasn't everything stable this morning? Hearing Li Maoyue's trembling voice, Fu Zhuan was surprised. It was the first time he had ever seen him this terrified. His whole body was trembling, and his eyes were blank. Fu Zhuan quietly patted his shoulder. Is there anything I can do to help? And just like that, Fu Zhuan became Li Maoyue's driver. Sorry for making you run a red light. Fu Zhuan reassured him. Don't say that. We're friends, after all, right? And this is obviously a serious matter. Is the patient your family member? Li Maoyue was covered in cold sweat, his entire body tense. No, he's a friend of mine. They finally arrived. As soon as Li Maoyue got out of the car, he saw the doctor waiting at the entrance. Fu Zhuan watched him walking away and talking to the doctor. A friend. That's okay. As long as it isn't Xu Qingchi. As long as it's not that guy with something wrong with his head. When Li Maoyue entered, all the medical staff were desperately trying to save Xu Qingqi's life. Heart rate is down to 30. Blood pressure is continuing to drop. We can barely detect the systolic pressure. Even the brainwave activity index has fallen below 25%, and it's still dropping. They had no choice but to inject adrenaline. The situation is critical. We don't have time to make complete preparations. We have to enter a memory node immediately. Li Maoyue could hear nothing but the doctor's instructions. This temporary memory node is unstable, so there may be complications. We'll monitor your vital signs at all times. If necessary, we'll forcibly terminate the connection. Begin the brainwave synchronization. Find the patient and do everything you can to interact with him. The doctor's voice gradually became blurred. The scene from the memory began to come into focus. This time, Li Maoyue saw Xu Qingchi studying in the classroom. He eagerly called out his name, but Xu Qingchi only stared at him in confusion. Who are you? Li Maoyue panicked for a moment. After all, he had no idea what his adult self looked like. Xu Qingchi didn't get an answer, so he simply told him to leave. Please leave. Li Maoyue panicked and had no choice but to come up with a random excuse. I'm Li Maoyue's cousin. Xu Qingchi paused, then stared at Li Maoyue suspiciously. I don't remember him having a cousin. Li Maoyue could only awkwardly explain. We don't really see each other that often. He asked me to come find you, but he couldn't come himself, so. Xu Qingchi fell silent. Eventually, he sighed. Fine, let's go. Li Maoyue was stunned. He hadn't expected him to believe him so easily. Seeing him standing there blankly, Xu Qingchi asked, Didn't you say there was something you needed? Li Maoyue awkwardly went, oh. Then he left the classroom. Li Maoyue couldn't help looking around, because this was a temporarily constructed memory node. There were no students here, and there weren't even any teachers or staff. That made things rather difficult. When he noticed Xu Qingchi frowning, Li Maoyue panicked. Oh no. He seems to be noticing that something is wrong. I need to find a way to distract him. Finally, Li Maoyue spotted someone at the school store. He awkwardly called out, Boss, give me the bottles of drinks. But when he walked inside, he realized the store owner was glitching through the environment. Li Maoyue had no idea how to explain the situation. Luckily, Xu Qingchi turned his head away. Li Maoyue quickly pushed the store owner farther inside. I'll pick them myself. You can take a break. He hurriedly grabbed the drinks and shoved them into Xu Qingqi's hands. Come on, let's go. But Xu Qingqi didn't immediately follow him. Instead, he stared at the drinks in the bag for a long time. Then he glanced back at the school store. The store owner's figure was gradually turning into pixels. Xu Qingqi said nothing. He simply turned around and followed Li Maoyue. After they found somewhere to sit, Xu Qingqi handed Li Maoyue a bottle of water. Li Maoyue was still wondering whether he should take him back to his childhood home when Xu Qingqi suddenly called out, Li Maoyue. Li Maoyue instinctively answered, Yeah. The moment he realized what he had done, the drink sprayed all over his face. Oh no. I gave myself away. Then he panicked and quickly explained, I'm not. Xu Qingchi deliberately added, cousin. Li Maoyue burst out laughing. What? He secretly let out a huge sigh of relief. Suddenly, Xu Qingchi raised the drink in his hand. Do you know that this drink is 355 milliliters and contains 39 grams of sugar? That's more than the World Health Organization's recommended daily sugar intake of 25 grams. Li Maoyue was so annoyed by how difficult he was that he almost crushed the bottle. Sorry, your big brother didn't know. Xu Qingchi suddenly changed his tone. But having a little once in a while is fine. Li Maoyue stared at him without saying anything. He didn't look away until Xu Qingchi finished his drink. But Xu Qingchi still wasn't done with him. As an adult, you'll control your intake of sugary drinks, right? Li Maoyue was furious inside, but he had no choice but to pretend to be calm. Big brother really appreciates the reminder. After finishing their drinks, the two of them headed home. So far, everything was going smoothly. Xu Qingchi seemed to be deliberately ignoring the strange abnormalities in this world. But when Li Maoyue lowered his head, he almost screamed. He was glitching too. No. I guess it's more like a texture error. Wait, could my face be glitching too? Li Maoyue was completely panicked. Then Xu Qingchi called out to his again. Li Maoyue's cousin. What's that on your clothes? Li Maoyue was afraid he would ask exactly that. He could only give an awkward smile. This is a really high-tech outfit. Oh, and your big brother just realized it's almost time for me to meet Li Maoyue. We should hurry home. Little did he know, a beeping sound was ringing beside Xu Qingchi's ears. The places they passed began crackling with electricity. It continued until Li Maoyue brought Xu Qingchi to the front door of the house. Xu Qingchi kept staring at his body and didn't immediately follow him inside. After Li Maoyue went in, he realized Xu Qingchi was still standing outside. Why did the door suddenly close? He reached out to knock on it, only to realize that he couldn't touch the lock. Li Maoyue stared at his hand in panic, trying his best to suppress the fear rising inside him. Xu Qingchi, I think the door is broken. Just wait a second. But Xu Qingchi remained strangely calm. Li Maoyue, I know it's you. Li Maoyue couldn't even fool the elementary school version of his childhood friend and had already been exposed. The machine suddenly began sounding an alarm. All indicators have exceeded their safe limits. The memory node is collapsing. At this rate, we'll only be able to maintain Xu Qingchi's vital signs. Brain elimination will just be a matter of time. The doctor asked about Li Maoyue's situation. Can we read the adjustable parameters from his side? The nurse shook her head. No, the synchronization is failing. We can't make any adjustments to the memory node right now. We can only wait for the connection to terminate naturally. The attending physician prepared for the worst. Terminate the brainwave treatment. Begin emergency resuscitation procedures. Dr. Wang, I'm leaving him in your hands. When the secretary saw the attending physician come out, he immediately asked, Doctor, how is Mr. Xu? The doctor's expression was grim. Pray. The secretary looked at him in disbelief. How could this happen? Isn't there anything else we can do? The attending physician was helpless. Don't look at me like that. Isn't there enough in this world that we can only pray about? Meanwhile, inside the memory node, Xu Qingchi collapsed. Li Maoyue, I know it's you. I'm still an elementary school student, but you've already grown up. At first, I thought it was a dream. But there's another possibility. I'm an elementary school student, and I don't have any memories of what happened after elementary school because my brain is deteriorating and can only process the bare minimum of information. You appearing as an adult might be because the real me left the deepest impression of you from this stage of your life. Either way, my subconscious borrowed your appearance as a substitute for my will to survive. I'm leaving this world, aren't I? Li Maoyue's pupils tightened. He couldn't stop trembling, but he still forced himself to hold back his sobs. No, you're just sick. I'm here to save you. As long as you can wake up, as long as... Before he could finish, Li Maoyue was horrified to realize that he was about to disappear. He desperately wished he could have just a little more time to finish what he wanted to say. But in the end, he couldn't stay. Xu Qingchi sensed the silence on the other side of the door and knocked several times. Li Maoyue. When there was no response, Xu Qingchi weakly slapped the door. Just when he was about to give up, the door suddenly opened, and Li Maoyue had turned back into an elementary school student. Xu Qingchi, did you come to play? This version of Li Maoyue knew nothing about what had just happened. Xu Qingchi stood there in a daze for a long time, his mind completely blank. Then he called out again. Li Maoyue. Li Maoyue opened the door and walked inside. Why do you look so surprised? Isn't it normal for me to be home? Come in, do you want something to eat? There's watermelon in the fridge, and there's also soda. But you don't drink soda, right? Xu Qingchi said he had already had a drink. Then he suddenly noticed the drawing paper on the table. The moment he saw what was drawn on it, his eyes widened. Li Manu blushed and quickly snatched it away. Wait, don't look. When Xu Qingchi asked about it, Li Manu awkwardly explained. It's just a human body practice sketch, although I'm not very good at drawing. But Xu Qingchi kept staring at the drawing paper hidden behind his back. Li Manu suddenly asked when Xu Qingchi was leaving the country. Xu Qingchi thought something was wrong. Li Manu turned his back to him, his voice sounding muffled. Nothing. He turned around with a stiff smile. I hope everything goes well for you. Because Xu Qingchi was going abroad to study in middle school. Li Manu was very unhappy when he heard the news, but he still forced himself to smile and wish him well. Xu Qingchi fell silent. The constant beeping sound beside him continued. Li Manu heard it too. What's that sound? Did I leave the refrigerator door open? The sound made Xu Qingchi's mood sink. It was as if he could see his future self lying unconscious in a hospital bed. Unable to wake up, he instinctively gripped the fabric over his chest. Li Manu remained completely unaware. That's strange. It's not open. What exactly is making that noise? Xu Qingchi finally spoke. Don't look for it. It's just a sound coming from outside. Li Manu glanced out the window and seemed convinced. Oh, okay. Then let's eat some watermelon and watch cartoons. The room was filled only with the sound of the cartoon. In the previous episode, White Bunny found herself in a life for elimination crisis. Can Courage Cat save his friend at the last possible moment? Li Manu started watching intently. Xu Qingchi quietly turned his attention toward him. On the screen, Courage Cat stood in front of White Bunny. Evil Demon King, I won't believe a single word you say. I'll protect my friend myself. Below White Bunny was a bottomless abyss. He didn't want to drag Courage Cat down with him. Thank you, Courage Cat. Being your friend is the happiest thing in my life. Even if I only get one chance, I still want to protect you. Let go. Li Manu became nervous watching this scene. Xu Qingchi quietly stared at him. Maybe this is okay too. Courage Cat refused to let go. I won't allow it. Even if we're going apart someday, it won't be today. Li Manu suddenly lowered his head. Xu Qingchi, actually, I don't want you to go abroad at all. And I don't want to wish you a bright future. I just want to go to middle school with you. The moment Li Manu finished speaking, tears began streaming down his face. Xu Qingchi looked surprised. Li Manu hurriedly wiped away his tears. I'm sorry. I'm being too selfish. As your friend, I should support you unconditionally and help you. But His voice suddenly stopped, because Xu Qingchi had somehow taken his hand. Li Manu stared at him in confusion. What are you doing? Xu Qingchi held his hand and smiled. Then he kissed the back of Li Manu's hand. Li Manu's eyes widened instantly. What? What is he doing? Xu Qingchi spoke. Li Manu, I lied. In the end, he still couldn't say what he had been hiding in his heart. The rapid beeping sound blurred Li Manu's face. The connection was terminated. Bedsu's assistant has regained consciousness. All vital signs are stable. Immediately check the abnormal patient. Li Manu had just sat up when the nurse hurriedly asked, Mr. Li Manu, can you hear me? How are you feeling right now? Li Manu suddenly threw off the blanket and tried to get out of bed. The nurse hurriedly tried to stop him. When he saw Xu Qingchi lying unconscious, Li Manu's face filled with terror. Suddenly, he noticed Xu Qingchi's eyelashes move. Then Xu Qingchi opened his eyes right in front of him. The first thing Xu Qingchi did after opening his eyes was look toward Li Manu. And that brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment to let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest parts. I'll see you in the next one. Love you all.